everybody? What's going on, everybody? All right, welcome to B McFly live stream, where we are not here to downplay anybody, talk down on anybody, not even really pick a side. We're not even really here to pick a side. I just want to know what happened, not only just to Dipset, but what happened to the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know what in the world happened. Like, I need answers, man. I need to know what took place. How did we get here? Now I know it's been, years and years of like Jim Jones. Cause I mean, when you think about it, right? I want to say it's been about 10 years ago was 2016. It's been about damn near it's been about damn near 15-year like run of like them going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I always wanted to know, like, how do a team of people grow up with each other, create a foundation, create a foundation where now not only do the originals make money, now you created a foundation for people under the originals to start making money. You get what I'm saying? Like, not only do the originals make money, but now you can expand. Now you got Bird Gang and Purples in the set or Diplomat. You have so many. What took place between these guys? Because I be so hurt. I be so hurt looking at older men like that were childhood friends. These are guys that are 50, not 30. Like when Hove said, okay, so make another Hove. Hove was actually like 30 something years old when he came out with that song. And I'm not, yeah, women, peace and love to you, bro. I'm new here. Yo, peace and love to you too, man. The Bulldog, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to everybody that's in. You know this, the chat, listen, the chat gonna go up and down, up and down. Hopefully you stay here. Hopefully I can keep you intrigued on what I'm talking about and what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, I'm here for it, man. So welcome to everybody. Now, these guys are 50 years old. These guys are 50 years old, y'all. And I understand that the internet world is the internet world. This is the internet world, right? Like where when you jump on the internet, you can be the new story that people want to look at. You understand? Like you could be like at one point in time, everybody was like watching reality TV, right? You're watching reality TV. I remember, I don't know how old you guys are, but I remember when the real world, I think the real world, who remembers the real world? I remember the real world when they first came out. And that was like the first reality TV show, right? Now these guys are getting on the internet. The guys are getting on the internet and they're like performing. They are performing like it's no more reality show. It's no more reality TV. I mean, it's reality TV is out, but I remember at one point in time, reality TV was heavy in like the early 2010s. You understand what I'm saying? When reality TV was reality TV. Now all you got to do is get on YouTube, right? Not even you could just say something. All you got to do is jump on a podcast, jump on your phone, post it up on any social media site, and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, these guys were childhood friends. Dipset, I'm talking about Jim Jones, Cameron, right? Freaky Zeke, Joel Santana, out of Harlem. These guys are childhood friends. Well, Freaky Zeke and Cameron are actually cousins, right? Joel Santana is a little younger than them. Joel Santana is probably like he's in his early 40s. But Freaky Zeke, Cameron, and Jim Jones, those guys are like I'm talking about the door is cracked at 50. And sometimes I'll be thinking to myself, like, I remember, it's a few things that I remember about what took place with Dipset. Like, I remember back in the day, I remember seeing, True Life going at Dipset or going at Jim Jones. I remember, they had this situation over there with Detroit. What's that guy named Trick? I remember Cameron and Jim Jones went through their situation with those guys from Brooklyn, right? Where they were actually, I don't know, they were actually running through the Rucker Park. You know what I mean? And because there was a lot of guys chasing them or whatever. I don't I don't know who is tough. I don't know who was the gangster. I remember, Freaky Zeke. I don't even know. I'm not calling him Freaky Zeke no more. I'm calling him Zeke. I remember Zeke was talking about, getting shot and how he had to take a gun and shoot somebody and so on and so forth. I remember all of that, right? And then let's move along. Or was this before? Either way, I remember the situation with Cameron and 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 uh and 50 Cent. I remember that situation where they're actually arguing over the phone on the radio station. They're arguing on the phone on the radio station, right? And they talking about who got more money and who's doing this and who doing that, right? And they were saying how uh, I think 50 was saying like Lloyd Banks got more money than Jim Jones, and Cameron was saying certain things or whatever. And then after that, you see Jim Jones on the basement. 50 Cent was hosting the basement, and Jim Jones just so happened to pop up to the basement. And it was crazy because everybody was like, yo, this is when Jim Jones had balling. Balling was popping. And people was like, yo, this is wild. How are you up here with 50 Cent and Cameron and 50 Cent was just going at each other about independent artists and signing with Koch and all this and all of that. So it was a lot going on. I heard one time, it was rumors going around saying Jim Jones wanted to start a fake beef with Cameron. It was just a lot going on with them. I don't know what took place. I mean, Jim Jones dropped his solo albums. You know what I mean? Cameron, of course, he was the leader of Dipset, especially by selling units and when they signed to the Rock and all of these things and helping out with deals and so on and so forth. I just feel like when you have a group of people that grew up with each other, when you have a group of people that started a business together as kids, these guys are in these guys are in their early 20s, and I'm not gonna call them kids, but they were super young. They were young. Young, not understanding the business, but you ain't got to understand the business and have loyalty, right? You don't got to understand the business and have loyalty at all. Loyalty is loyalty. Understanding the business is understanding the business. How, wait a minute, what was the question? Understanding the business is understanding the business. How do your loyalty get mixed up with business? And I always ask that. How do you allow your loyalty, your honor, your integrity, your principles get anything mixed up with business? And see, I can't judge nobody. I can't judge none of those guys, right? I can't sit up here and say who's right and who's wrong because I don't know. But somebody's lying. Somebody out of this camp is lying. I don't know who's lying because I wasn't there. But all I'm saying is somebody is lying. I've seen Jim Jones have issues with Max B, right? And y'all don't know who Max B is. Max B is, if you go to Jim Jones' POME album, right? Max B is responsible for a lot of the POME songs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, and I know it was some little, it was an issue going on with Jim Jones and Max B, and Max B is he's proclaiming that he's Jim Jones' best song ever, Ballin'. He's the reason for that. That's what at the time, Max B is like, I'm the reason for Ballin' to take off the way it took off. And, whatever, whatever, whatever. It was issues that, Jim Jones, wasn't paying him right or something like that. And, Jim Jones spent a lot of money on him and bailed him out a few times. All of these things. Now, up to date, Jim Jones have explained like, he may have done some things wrong, and he was, at the time doing what was done to him. And I get that, right? So I just don't, I've heard Cameron explain how, we knew Jim Jones back in the day. We used to go over Jim Jones' house, and because he had the free house, and I've heard Dame Dash mention that as well. You don't normally hear, you don't hear Joel Santana mention anything about this. Like he kind of said something about Cameron before, but it wasn't to the magnitude of how Jim Jones and Cameron is going back and forth. Sometimes I always think about it being fake, right? I be like, man, is this fake? Like, is this shit really real? Like, you guys grew up with each other. I can never ever, I can never do this where I grow up with you and then I start talking about the things that took place when back then to make me get the upper hand on you in front of millions and millions of people. I don't see myself doing that because it doesn't make me feel right. Like I feel like I never liked you. And I always wanted to say this to you. If I gotta get out there and really start talking about you and throwing you under the bus and saying all the negative things that you've done back then, handle it, instead of like doing it right then and there. I can never get on this. I can never get on the internet and start talking about a person that I really say, yo, I love you, bro. Like, I sincerely love you. We building this empire together. We weathering the storm together. We've been through fights. We've been through cities. You know what I mean? We starved. We ate together. Yo, bro, we cried together. Yo, when you was struggling, I was struggling. Like, I cannot find the heart to get on these internet social sites and talk down on a person I built the empire with. Because if you can see, right, Jim Jones is still selling DIPSET stuff. Cameron is doing the same thing. You see Cameron with the same DIPSET emblem, just like Jim Jones. You see Joel Santana doing the same thing. Everybody still got their chain. Everybody still got their chain. Joel Santana, Zeke, Jim Jones, and Cameron. So they're making money off that DIPSET, the diplomatic bird, that logo. They're all using the logo to make money. All of them. So it's like, if we can all use the logo to make money, why are we going at each other? These guys, I've seen Jim Jones cry on Funk Flex. I've seen Jim Jones crying on Funk Flex, talking about his involvement with DIPSET, what took place with DIPSET, him putting his life on the line for DIPSET. Even with Cameron, you see how Cameron went from Children of the Corn. I forgot everybody, but my man, I think Mace was in it, Cameron was in it. Man, one of my guys too, man. I love this kid, man. He had one of my favorite albums from Harlem, man. But God bless the child that holds his own. Yo, damn. Oh my God, I'm mad that I don't know. I forgot his name right now. Come on. I ain't even got my other phone on me. All good. Either way, right? I remember seeing like old videos of like Jim Jones being a hype man for Cameron. Like, I'm talking about Jim Jones stated that he would, yo, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes. He said that. I would do whatever it takes to make sure that we build this empire. We protect the money, which was Cameron. We got to protect the money because Cameron is the money, right? I don't care if I got to carry bags. I don't care if I got to fight. I don't care if I got to shoot. I don't care if I got to, if I got to be the hype man on stage. Whatever it takes, we got to protect the bag by any means necessary. We got to make sure that Cameron is okay because Cameron is getting the deals and bringing the bag in. You heard? That's coming out of Jim Jones' mouth. I don't know if I've ever really heard Cameron give Jim Jones his flowers. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying I don't ever recall Cameron giving Jim Jones his flowers. I recall Jim Jones giving Cameron his flowers. And that don't mean I'm picking sides. I'm just telling you things that I've seen, being like watching Jim Jones on podcasts and things of that nature. Now, Zeke, that's Cameron's cousin. They are actually cousins. Um, and at one point in time, I've never heard Zeke kind of like get involved. Like it was always, you know, those guys are brothers. Those guys are going to figure it out. It ain't serious. He always was, neutral in retrospect. Like, yo, listen, man. Like he almost used to make like kind of joke out of it. You heard? Like it wasn't nothing like too serious until Jim Jones called them out. Until Jim Jones said some foul words about him. You heard? So now Zeke finally jumped on the internet and said something back. I'm wondering who can be, what will, how can it get squashed? Or do they want it to get squashed? Because you're getting so many views now. You're getting so many views. Right? You got It Is What It Is. Right? They got their sports show. I wouldn't call it a podcast because I think they come on every day. They on YouTube every day. It Is What It Is. You got Jim Jones, Artist to Artist, his podcast, Artist to Artist. And then he also got a podcast with Fabulous, Mano, and Davies called Let's Rap About It, which is fire. I love Let's Rap About It. And it's like, well, the more y'all start yelling and screaming on these social sites, the more people are going to tune in with, your sports show, It Is What It Is, and Let's Rap About It, and Artist to Artist podcast. These guys are damn near senior citizens, people. They are damn near senior citizens. How can we get these men to stop? Y'all built an empire. You would never see a DIPSET group again. You would never see a DIPSET group again. They started the trends. If you're too young, Lil Wayne got his style, when Lil Wayne got out of that FUBU polo shirt, no shirt type of swag, he actually got his style from DIPSET. Mind you, Lil Wayne and Joel Santana was supposed to do a mixtape called Can't Feel My Face. Don't know what happened to that. But this is, some people may not say it's a proven fact, but I want to say this is a proven fact. These guys were the belt chains and the BB belts and that rock star look. They started that in rap. Was it nobody on that rock star look but them? And you could go back. Fabulous was always on his modeling, pretty boy look. Dipset. State Property and the Locks was always on that street type of look, like they were like gritty look. Remember, State Property clothing was based around like compartments in your jeans and your pants and your jackets. It was like that. Like if you are familiar with like the Dickies, it gave off that kind of look. The Locks was just strictly streets. Who else? Mobb Deep wasn't, you know what I mean? Like they wasn't on it like that. Jay-Z was on his, button up, you know what I mean? Like he was rocking a button up or a cool shirt with a rockaware. Some fly, rockaware sweatsuits, shit like that. So I don't, and but not just Dipset though, right? Not just Dipset. You got Cash Money. You got Rockefeller, State Property. Like, what happened to all of these groups? The only group that's popular that are like, I'm talking about like amongst all of these other groups were the Locks. The Locks were the only group to actually continue to be loyal with each other. What did they do that State Property didn't do? What did the Locks do? What did the Locks do that State Property didn't do? What did the Locks do that Rockefeller didn't do? What did the Locks do that Dipset didn't do? What did the Locks do that Cash Money didn't do? What did the Locks do that Bad Boys didn't do? What did the Locks do? What kept the Locks locked in? The Locks, they stayed locked in. Like these are guys that grew up with each other since kids. These are guys that grew up in the same neighborhood. Now it's clear as day, you got the Locks, and then you got the Locks, and then you got take it. What? I gotta brush my hair. You want me to take my hat? I can take my hat off. Not a problem. Not a problem at all, brother. You got the Locks, right? You got the Locks. You got I'm sorry. The Locks, Mobb Deep. Okay, Prodigy passed away. Prodigy passed away. Who else was a group that kind of like broke up? You like, damn. Who else was a group that broke up? What other group broke up and was like, yo, what happened? G-Unit. What happened to Manny? God appreciate you, Manny. What happened to G-Unit? What did the Locks have? What did the Locks have that G-Unit didn't have? Or what did they do? See, I'm a firm believer that it's always a person in the group that has an ill intent. It's always a person in a group that has an ill intent. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Dame Dash and Jay-Z. But I'm sure everybody's going to look at Dame Dash like he's bitter. And everybody look at Jay-Z like he didn't do nothing wrong. If you look at Cash Money, when they did their little tour or whatever that they was doing, Lil Wayne wasn't even jacking Baby. Lil Wayne was like, yo, what the, yo, like, it was weird. It's weird. Money, power, greed makes people fall out. Money, power, greed, all the time. All the time. And you find yourself dealing with these people for, for 20 plus years. Then when somebody make a certain amount of money, now it's like, you know what, I don't even want to deal with you no more. Why? Dame Dash is like, damn, those people did something to my friend. He allowed those people, this is what Dame Dash is saying. Jay-Z allowed those people to break up a friendship. Who are you talking about, Dame? And I ain't saying you wrong, but who are you talking about? You got Busta Rhymes that's still with Spliff Star. I don't know about the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know what they got going on. I don't know if they broke up or not. I remember a time when Jay-Z, I remember one time when Beanie Siegel was in court. And the judge said, if we let Beanie Siegel go, would you be responsible, Jay-Z, if we let Beanie Siegel go right now, would you be responsible for Beanie Siegel? Jay-Z said no. Now, I know what y'all thinking. How can he be responsible for a grown-ass man? Remember, Jay-Z is the one that always praised Beanie Siegel. It wasn't like if Beanie Siegel was if they were to let Beanie Siegel go and then he got into some more trouble, then they was going to come like Jay-Z up. A lot of people found that shady. How he treated State Property when State Property was the ones who had Jay-Z back through the lyrical war, anything from the streets. Not saying Jay-Z needed that, but the way they was moving around. What happened to G Unit? What happened to Game and 50? More importantly, what happened with 50 and Lloyd Banks? What took place? I always heard things like 50 say out loud, you know, Banks was lazy. And what does that mean though? Like, do y'all like, okay, even if a person is lazy, do you just say, I'm done with you? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. And even Rick Ross and Meek Mill or whatever, I don't know. What Maybach music, I don't know what's going. I don't look at Maybach music. I don't look at Maybach music as a dynasty. I look at G Unit as a dynasty, Rockefeller as a dynasty, Cash Money as a dynasty. You know, I look at certain people, certain groups as dynasties. I don't look at Maybach music as a dynasty, but I do look at the Locks, G Unit, Rockefeller, Cash Money, um, Dipset. They was like shit. They like the only groups that I could think of. What happened with Kanye West and Jay Z? Anybody know? Can anybody tell me what happened with Kanye West and Jay Z? How did they break up? How did they fall out? What took place? Because obviously it's nothing new. Dipset is not the only ones that are not together anymore. I don't know what happened with Jay Z and Kanye West. Kanye West, I don't even think I really heard Kanye West speak about it. Jay Z's not speaking about nothing. You can, he's not going to talk about anything. So we don't even know how he actually feels. But he's not mentioning nothing. I don't know, man. I remember one time, right? Nas had to go at Queensbridge called Build It, Destroy and Rebuild. That's what it's called, Destroy and Rebuild. Like, okay. I remember on Destroy and Rebuild, he went at Prodigy, Cormega, Nature, Noriega. Now Noriega he's from Left Rack, and but I don't think nobody. Now they weren't together. They just was from all of them from Queensbridge. Everybody was just from Queensbridge, right? However, I felt like when Jay Z when Nas was battling Jay Z, Nas didn't really have nobody like rocking with him like that. Like Nas wasn't. I feel like Nas was by himself. I don't know why he came out with the song called "Destroy and Rebuild," but he had to go at everybody that's from out there. You think they are projects? They got the money, so how do you think they are projects? Well, so I always like going back to Dipset. I don't know. Sometimes I'll be thinking it's a play. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, these guys are really, 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 you know, just doing all this shit because you can get money off of it. I don't know. Sometimes I think like that. I'll be thinking a lot of people is doing it. When you think about it, right? Jerry Springer started off real. And then next thing you know, it was fake fights and fake stories. The fights were so fake that we still believed it. It, it was faker than wrestling. Like, and that's how I'm feeling. Like, is this shit really real? Is the beef really real? Because I'm so like, oh shit, and I forgot about No Limit. I forgot about No Limit. I forgot about no, like No Limit kind of like stopped early though, so I can't even like name them. Can't even name them. But when I look at Dipset, right, these were trendsetters. The group was legendary. I wasn't the best group for me were the Locks. Like I'm Locks fan, hands down. Um, but I don't know, man. A lot of these guys let money and greed get in the way. And once you let the money and the greed get in the way, you know, then that's when you're going to have a problem. Some people were saying how Dame Dash made an executive decision without notifying Jay-Z, making Cameron president of Rockefeller. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that these guys are damn near senior citizens. Like you're like 12 years away from being senior citizens. And if they are doing this as a way of getting to the money, I guess I get it. But if this shit is really like extremely real, how can it be stopped? Then I'll be thinking to myself, right? It's fake. Real ones are rare. I'll be thinking to myself, like, if it's on, like I'm talking about like really, really on, don't you think somebody would like pull up? And I'll be thinking like that, like, yo, if these guys are really beefing, like these guys are considered dangerous. I'm interested, brother. Got going on here. Yo, shout out to you, man, for being new to the stream, man. My name B McFly. You know what I'm saying? B McFly stands for being motivated, comes from loving yourself. You know what I mean? I wrote 2 books. I'm an author of 2 books. Uh, the first book is Anybody Can Be McFly. It's a children's book, right? And then I wrote another book with Master P called Mastering Mental Health. And, you know, I'm just here, you know, to speak about certain things. I'm here to save lives, which I do all the time. And, you know, this is a place where I'm not here. One can be crime and punishment. And this is a place where I'm not here to be judgmental. It's just to have an open dialogue. You know what I'm saying? That's it. 1 second. Yeah. So boom. All right. So right here, this is my first book, Brandon Chastain. Anybody Could Be McFly. You know what I mean? Support, support, support. It's a children's book, you know what I mean? Encouraging kids to do the right thing. Encouraging kids to follow directions with their parents or guardian and staying away from drugs and you know, chasing their dreams, right? Anybody Can Be McFly. And then my next book, right here, see Master P? See me right here? Master P right here, me right here. And these are all the other authors, right? Darian Henson from Soul Food, Tiana Vaughn Johnson. And guess what? I got the first chapter. I got the first chapter of the book. All right? Trauma Baby. What am I saying right now? Yeah. Trauma Baby. I always tell people, right? And this book is dope because it's dealing with mental, like how did people overcome their mental health, right? Or how they're keeping it together. Because you listen, you can never I'm not gonna say you can never overcome your mental health, but you always gotta like it's like you can keep it at a minimum. Trust me. So this is me right here. And it's dope, man, because writing a book with Master P, that like that's a huge accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not like there I go right there. Trauma baby. You know what I mean? And I call myself a trauma baby because I call myself a trauma baby because of my parents was 14 and 16 when they had when I was being born. What you think? Like I was born by lust and trauma. That's it. So everything, so everything that I've been through is right here. Most, and I can't, you know what? I'm not going to say most of us either, because I don't know what nobody been through. I don't know what nobody been through. And listen, y'all, people are going to say negative things. Let them keep saying negative things. Once you get on this internet, you have to learn how to block the negativity, right? It, if a person is taking time out to say all these negative things about me, right? My little itty bitty 7 people, right? And I don't mean it like in that way. I'm saying like I ain't got that many people on here. I'm not, I feel good knowing that these guys are on here talking nonsense. That feels good actually. I'm doing something, right? So everything that I've been through, I put it in this book. Anybody Can Be McFly, written by Brandon Chastain. Be McFly stands for being motivated comes from loving yourself. You could be McFly too for those who write in negative comments. So this is a short children's story about a new superhero in town named B McFly, right? Which is me. I'm actually B McFly. This is, I created myself, put myself in as a character whose superpowers is not just physical strength, but also his positive mindset, right? And determination to help others. Positive mindset and determination to help others. B. McFly, whose alter ego is Brandon, helps a friend who is struggling with a school and motivates him. Struggling in school and motivates him to improve his grades. From then on, he creates a persona called B. McFly to help and motivate others. One day, he receives a distress signal from the mayor of his town, who explains that it's a new drug called Negative N. Now, Negative N is narcotics, right? I was addicted to Percocets for a very, very long time. Right? And coming out of Philadelphia, it is so many people that are addicted to narcotics, like Percocets, like fentanyl, right? And how did I get addicted to Percocets? I got shot. In 2004, I got shot. And I always tell people that doctors are some of our worst enemies because they will bring you in, medicate you, but then that's it. They don't give you the ups and downs about these drugs. The doctor never told me. I was in the hospital for a week after being shot. The doctors never told me, yo, listen, before we discharge you, we're going to give you this drug that is highly addictive called Percocets. Okay? Never once said it was highly addictive. Never once said be careful, be mindful. Again, I never heard of a drug called Percocets in 2004. Were people taking them? Yes. I wasn't in that realm. I wasn't in that scene, right? So when I started take Percocets every 6 hours or as needed. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Found myself taking the Percocets, and I'm like, yo, why don't they sell these over the counter? Like they do Tylenol, like they do aspirin, like they do everything else? Still ignorant, people. Still ignorant. Still ignorant. Because again, I heard about Xanaxes. I wasn't taking that stuff. I'm looking at people take Xanaxes. I'm like, yo, I'm good. One on the noise. I'm good. So with me writing this book, right? So it's a new drug, and me being from Philly, right? So the new drug is called Negative N. I called it Negative N, which stands for narcotics, right? Has entered the town causing chaos amongst the youth. Now, I work with the youth. Do you understand that there's so many young teenagers, young adults that know that they're taking fentanyl? They know that they're taking it. And they're still saying, I want to take it. They know that fentanyl is killing people left and right, and they're still taking these drugs. So what do that tell you? Like, what does it tell you when you know, like, if a person be like, okay, Percocets, all right, cool. You're taking Percocets, but you're not hearing about people dying from Percocets. You are hearing people dying from fentanyl. They wanna end themselves. Some of these things are passive aggressive way of committing that S word with the side at the end. Okay? And I don't want to say certain things because I don't know how this works, if YouTube I don't know, shut it down or whatever the case may be. I work with troubled youth. I'm always inside. I go to court cases. I'm at programs. I'm doing restorative circles. I'm doing meetings. I'm going to people. I'm going to these kids' homes, these young adults' homes. I am doing it all. Interrupting violence, intervening violence. I am doing it all. So creating this book, Anybody Can Be McFly, sometimes not even sometimes, it starts at the bottom. Kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade. So by the time they get into junior high school, we already got a hold on them. It's even worse. It's even worse when you're like trying to get them at 16, 18, 21 years old. B. McFly's accepted the challenge and set out to find the source of the drug, ultimately organizing a youth rally in the town square to share his message on positivity and self-love with the young people. The story ends with B. McFly becoming the beloved superhero in the town and inspiring others to pursue their dreams, including a young girl named Taya Sunday. Now, Taya Sunday, I put in a book that I wrote, Taya Sunday, right? Taya is my daughter, and Sunday is my daughter. So I put them in a book, right? Including Taya Sunday, who approaches them and say, they approach me, I'm sorry, and say that they want to be just like me when they grow up. So that's what this book is about. And if you want to purchase this book, please, please help me get this book. Go to Amazon. My name is Brandon L. Chastain. The book is called Anybody Can Be McFly. Anybody Can Be McFly. Yep. Oh, sorry. So here goes some of the... No, I took my time. I took my time with this. Now, mastering, thank you. And I appreciate everybody. If you go on my Instagram, right? My Instagram is B dot, not the word dot, B period MCFLY underscore. B period MCFLY underscore. That's B dot B dot MCFLY underscore. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You could go on Amazon. You could go on Amazon and purchase both of these books. You could go on Amazon and purchase both of these books. Right? I'm not here. I tell people, I'm not here to be this gossipy guy. Like, no, I'm really out here. It's like I be wanting to know solutions. Now I know what I'm dealing with. Like, even when I wrote this book right here with Master P. Master P has actually lost a child to drug addiction and mental health. Right? And I lost a lot of people, including my mother, to drug addiction. My mother passed away, and it's so deep, right? My mother passed away 2015. You know what I'm saying? She passed away in 2000. I appreciate the gift. I appreciate that. Word, Mike. I appreciate that. My mother passed away in 2015 from a drug overdose. My father used to sell me drugs. My father used to sell me drugs. And I used to ask myself, like, why am I giving this man so much money? Why am I giving this man, I call my father, so much money? I gave my father more money for pills than he ever gave me in his life. I'm going to say this again. I gave my father more money for pills than he ever gave me in his life. My father wound up passing away in 2020. My grandmother that raised me passed away in 2021. My best friend passed away in 2021. So I was getting hit hard with death. And I said, I gotta be the one that create something different. I gotta be the one that changed the narrative of my life and my family life. And it's still not easy. I've worked with so many people. I've worked with Cameron. I've worked with Lloyd Banks. I've worked with Master P. And it's like, as a positive person, it's you versus the algorithm. And this is why, I know people want to see a car crash more so than anything else. And guess what? That's why I was a part of this book called Mastering Mental Health. Right here. Shout out to Master P. Shout out to Tiana Vaughn Johnson. Shout out to Darian Henson. Shout out to all the other authors who was a part of this book. Yo, don't forget, y'all. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. B.MCFLY underscore. B.MCFLY underscore. All right? And if you don't want to follow me, but you want to see who I'm about, you can see all of my articles. You can see everything that I was on. I'm talking about I've been on so many articles, so many interviews, so many, seen on so many networks, right? Just Google me. And then you can see that I'm the real deal. All you got to do is type into Google Brandon Chastain or type in B McFly, BMCFLY, and you can see who I am. You can see where I come from. You can see my background. You can see that I'm the real deal, y'all. So, yo, man, listen, I appreciate y'all being on here. Trust me. Thank you. You y'all can you can stay with me, you know what I'm saying, and stay with the community that I've building over here. And you know, just patch in, man. And I appreciate y'all being on here, man. B McFly, and I'm clocked out, man. Let's go. Oh, B.MCFLY underscore. That's B.MCFLY underscore. Purchase my books, please. Please. Purchase the books. Give them to a friend. Give a lot of them to a friend. Tell people about who I am. Mental health and drug addiction, saving lives. All right? Appreciate y'all, and I'm out. Let's go.